It absolutely puzzles me why I have to keep repeating this. But if you are still tuned in to corporate media, TikTok, and other venues, and do not understand the complexities of the moment, then you're not going to understand what I'm about to say. YouTube is the absolute last bastion of free speech in America right now. And the reason why, if you haven't subscribed to ad-free YouTube, that you're being inundated with Trump ads about how successful he's been with this country and how you can't access certain information, or maybe your podcast isn't doing so well. We have already told you how this came to pass. Now, on day one of the Trump administration, inflation was supposed to go down. The war in Gaza and the war in Ukraine was going to be stopped with one phone call. None of that happened, but what did happen is Elon Musk infiltrated every agency of this government and extracted your information for use or sale to the highest bidder. If you don't believe that, that's fine. But the proof is in the pudding. Now, if you still wish for this to be the last bastion of free media, I would implore you right now, not only to like and subscribe to this video, but like and subscribe to any YouTube video that fits the narrative, the true narrative that still exists in America. Now, you might not agree with everything that's being said, but at least you have a choice. So that gets me to my point here. I have been on this earth for 53 years. And I have spoken to the fathers and daughters of people of color that have served overseas in wars, only to come back to the United States of America to not have any type of equality. But I digress. In this moment, let me take you where the story starts. The problem with this moment is not only the failure to punish individuals, insurrectionists, that took part in the United States Civil War and then put up monuments to their insurrectionists, but is also our failure to acknowledge black individuals that participated in genocide and thought it was okay. Now, I'm sure I'm going to get a whole lot of feedback off of this, but I want you to think about a man named Paul Lance as the white whisperer. And in this moment, I'm going to be the black and brown whisperer. For Congress, every black or brown American right now. We are not in a civil war or a revolutionary war as I thought, ignorantly. But I watched this podcast that a clergyman put out today, and it really made me introspective of myself and my views. Now, I am not an atheist per se. However, I do not believe in organized religion. I practice Native American sweat lodge, religion, burning sage, and so forth. But that's not important to the point I'm trying to make. The point I am trying to make is that we are looking at this from the wrong lens. What we have right now is something I predicted back in about 2016, I think, that we are in a war against good and evil. And this is a holy war. There is the devil, and there's the rest of us. And like I said, I don't subscribe to organized religion, but I do recognize the difference between good and evil. And the people that I have encountered who have been most morally whole have been people who are not Christian nationalists. And they are not black Christians. And I say black Christians because a lot of you are sitting on your fucking asses waiting for your God to save you. That's okay. We can afford to lose you to your laziness and your stupidity. The rest of us are going to do the work you should be doing. Now, at the time of Harriet Tubman and people like John Brown, the work was not left to the lazy and the followers. The work was left to the leaders. The reason why black people were liberated from slavery, in the most part, was due to Quakers, people like John Brown, starting the Revolutionary War years before it happened, and people like Harriet Tubman. Not people of African descent who were brainwashed into becoming Christians and then falling in love with the white man and waiting. And as much as I admire Dr. Martin Luther King and John Lewis and people like that, I don't believe in the God that makes you wait and makes you suffer perpetually. And black people as a whole, no matter what your views are, what is important is how you are viewed by the white man in this moment. You will be thrown right back in the coming days into that same death trap of Christianity. Look at the Crusades and other movements where white people went from country to country and indoctrinated people of color into the belief system that we still follow today, and we do, and we cannot deny that. However, if you look like me, you have no allegiance to this philosophy. Before I get into the topic of this podcast, let me give you a little bit of history. In 1866, after the, I'll say, that to piss off the opposition, Abraham Lincoln freed enslaved black Americans from bondage. And I believe that's the only reason why. Buffalo soldiers of the 9th and 10th Cavalry and the 24th and 25th Infantry of the United States Army went out with the blessing of the United States government to kill Native Americans. To kill Native Americans. Let me be clear that it is not okay for any oppressed individual to target another oppressed individual for validation. Yet we celebrate these black Americans, and I never have. I thought they were disgusting. I thought they were race traitors. I did when I learned their history, and I still do now. So this brings us to the present. After World War II, the United States government did not want all these Jews in the United States of America. So many of them took the option of going into Palestine, which the United States government funded. Now they also saw an opportunity for colonization there. And that dream is coming to pass now. We have pumped money into the Israeli state to oppress Palestinians for decades. And every uneducated black and brown American voted to support this, especially Democrats. Go along to get along. As long as they're not fucking with me, I'm okay with that. So this is where we're at. Educated people who don't fall in line find that the genocide in Palestine is one of the worst atrocities, if not the worst, of the 21st century. But Aipac Democrats, black, Jewish, and otherwise, continue to fund the United States government to complete this task and think we are not watching. We're watching. We are Native Americans. We watch this shit. And the same thing that is happening right now with Benjamin Netanyahu and the United States government, Democrats that are pro-AIPAC, is the same exact thing that happened to Native Americans. The difference is you did not have billions of dollars allocated to the extermination of Native Americans. Nor did you have black people in the Supreme Court in the United States government allocating billions of dollars to employ Ku Klux Klan members, Proud Boys, January 6ers, and Oath Keepers to exterminate black and brown people in the streets of the United States of America. But that is what you have today. Right now, white people of all walks of life are saying that the most important thing we need to do right now is win the 2026 election. Let me be the first to say that I am so disappointed in you because you do not see the forest for the trees. We are the trees. And right now, you're the forest floor because you only make up 10% of the world population. Yes. White people, pure white people, only make up 10% of the world's population. That being said, the United States Congress and Senate are signing on, because I don't believe they're going to defund ICE. They are signing on right now, telling you something different and doing something else for clickbait, because they know these idiots on YouTube are going to put them up there and say Donald Trump is done and all this bullshit. No. What they are going to do is for their own personal comfort, and for they think it's the preservation of their seat, they are going to go ahead and fuck you over. And they're going to avoid a government shutdown, ignoring billions of dollars we have already paid ICE in order to win the 2026 election. Now let me be clear and bring you back in history. Your skin is your disadvantage. It does not matter which party wins the next election. So instead of putting your money and your efforts into an election, let the white people do that. The man who black people believe freed the slaves from his internal benevolence sanctioned the largest public execution in American history. In 1862, 38 Dakota men were executed for defending their land when a treaty was broken. Full stop. So if you think that you vote blue no matter who in 2026, that the Nancy Pelosi's, the Merrick Garlands, the Cory Bookers, and the Chuck Schumers, and those individuals give a shit about your body? They don't. They are enslaved by Aipac, just like the Buffalo Soldiers were enslaved by a check. And as long as they participate in the extermination of others, and it is not them, that is okay with them. Well, I'm here to tell you that as long as our movement continues and more people say the same thing I am, Democrats will lose the next election. And guess who already has their shit together? People like us. Because we have seen this movie before. We have already organized for our survival. So shock, awe, and clickbait, if the internet even exists by then, is going to be of no import to us. That's going to be your burden to bear. Those of you who are left. Because this time, we are not listening to your promises. This time, we know that you're fucking failures. This time, we don't fall for the okie doke. Because our children and grandchildren are not going to suffer your greed, your immorality, and your unfitness to hold office in our government. This is the Woke Socialist Podcast. Please have a better day.